I don't think we're looking
Luckily,
at those.
yeah, luckily the West has not changed much at all.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother trying to sort it.
So
Yeah, no,
I
just leaving it the way it is.
just started it. And
Mm. Hello, everybody. I think we are on.
yes.
Yes, we are. Okay, hello, everybody. Welcome to the SIBA Dirty South Basketball Podcast. We got Van. We are on. How are you doing, Van, today? Yes, we
Doing
are
great. Glad to
on
be
the
here.
air.
Yes.
We are on the air and ready to go.
Yes, we are.
And
Okay, hello,
today, with
everybody.
our first
Welcome to the
podcast
SIBA
of
Dirty
the
South.
year, we have got the surprises and disappointments of the year. We're going to get to that in just a second. Van, are you ready to talk about who has been overachieving and who has been underachieving?
Excited to do so.
You know it. So before we do that, let's take a look real quick at where everybody is and who is leading. And in the Eastern Conference, we've got the Eagles of Washington and a 19-4 mark coming into the season, leading the conference. And you gotta love it for Washington. They've had a couple tough seasons in a row. Um, I mean, not tough. They've made the playoffs and they've gotten in there, but they are definitely looking like right now that they can take it this year. They are looking strong.
Absolutely. Back where they're used to it being, and Albrecht Renault is dominating like we know he can.
Yeah, he has got it. He's got it for everybody. And in the West, is it a surprise? I don't know. Kansas City, the Coyotes, at 20-4 to start the season, blazing out of the gates.
They are on fire. There is a formula in Kansas City, and this year's team seems to have mastered it.
But they better watch out because right on their heels is Old Faithful, the Mamba from Los Angeles. They won 6 in a row and are have only played 15 games this season. I don't know who's the schedule makers are. Well, I guess they played a couple more last sim, but they've gotten an easy start to the season, and maybe it will get a little tougher when they start playing 5 games in 6 days or something like that.
Maybe, maybe.
But we will be talking about the Mamba a little bit later because they are definitely have got some players that are surprising us this season. Now, when you look at the things, we always want to start on the positive, right? You don't want to go negative
Absolutely.
first. So
Absolutely.
we
We'll
are going to.
start with a positive, and then we'll talk about some disappointments, and then we'll go back to surprising players to end on a positive note as well.
That's for sure. And we've got a couple surprising teams. Two of the three of us, meaning myself and Van right here, put Boston as the most surprising team. Right now, they are second in the East with 15 wins, and they have actually outperformed their projected finish by 11 spots. At the beginning of the season, the SIBA magazine put them out as 13th in the East, and right now they are second. Van, what do you think about that?
They are second because they are first in offense, and they are first in offense because they bomb threes like no team the SIBA has ever seen, 43.8 per game, and they make 47% of them.
And they are first place in that mark by a lot. I mean, it is just unreal. 48.2% from 3 point range. Their offensive rating is 116.6, which is just off the charts. How they're not first in scoring, I don't know. They're getting 119 a game. Uh, I mean, it's just unreal how they are firing. And as you said before we started this thing, they have got, what is it, four players on their team that are shooting over 50% in 3 point range.
Yes, they are bombing, and they are doing it at a. I've never seen a team shoot threes at this rate, much less make them at this rate.
And it's one thing if you have a team and you've got one, maybe two players getting over like 40%, you're happy. They
Yeah,
have got four that are shooting 50% or better. They have got everyone on their team except for one that takes 3 pointers on a regular basis, shooting over 40%. Insane.
it's incredible. It's incredible. And Leroy Tyler and Dana Adams are both taking over 10 a game and making over 50% of them.
And that is a recipe for scoring a lot of points. Now, like I said, we got to go positive first, negative second. I guess the one thing that could maybe get this team in the long run is the defense. They've given up a lot of points too, so they are 25th in points allowed with 111.6. So basically, they're trying to outgun their opponents.
I think that's the game right there for them. They're still fourth in net rating at 6.6, so that shows
Mhm.
they're doing pretty well overall. But I guess the question come playoff time will be, can someone slow them down at the threes enough to make up what they have advantages in other areas?
Yeah, I mean, I assume if you get a team that has some good perimeter defense, it's going to be tough to keep them. Keep them. It's going to be tough for them to outscore their opponents. Now,
Absolutely.
Kelly on the
I'm
yeah,
very much hoping for a Boston Montreal playoff series down the road.
it should be fun. Should be fun, and I think we may get that. Now, in the West, we've got a surprising team that's currently fourth in the standings, and that is Nolans, New Orleans, and that is who Kelly thought was the most surprising team this season. They were projected in the preseason to be 12th in the West, and they're currently sitting fourth. Why do you think that is?
They seem to be putting, they've been building. They've been building for the last four seasons, I think I identified in my preseason promotions, and they have not stopped. Their net rating is a solid 4.7 for eighth. Offense, defense, both top 10 in the league. It's just a good basketball team.
And I think it's just a consistency across the board. They are shooting over 50% and their field goal percentage, which is sixth in the league. And like you said, there are seventh in offensive rating, ninth in defensive rating, and that leads to an eighth overall net rating, which really does help the team. It's a balanced team, both offensively and defensively, and you just don't see that on a lot of teams. Normally, a team's either better defensively or better offensively, but they seem to be pretty balanced across the board.
Yeah, and a top 10 in both is a pretty good indicator for a strong playoff team.
And they don't have anyone like really leading the way offensively. Reggie Kinzer, their center, has got 19 points a game to lead the team, but they have six players overall that are in double digits on average, with Owens and Carey being right behind that with 9.4 and 9 points a game. So really balanced across the board with seven players or eight players that are really scoring.
I would watch Kinzer pretty closely in the six man of the year race.
Yeah, he's gonna be there in the end, and we know that the Bears are going to be there in the end. Other teams that have been surprising, I put Montreal as the second one, but as you said, Van, it seems like Britt always has a winner over there.
She's always better than expected. I hate to trivialize that because I don't know how she does it. She has a gift for identifying players that I overlook, and they turn out to be so much better than I thought. I never would have guessed that PJ Orr, where he was picked, would
Mm.
end up being the best player on a dominant team.
Yeah, every time I look at PJ, I'm just like, it just baffles me. But again,
Yeah.
it does it with shooting. Montreal's doing it with shooting. They are at 51% field goal. They're leading the league in field goal percentage. Again, they're almost top 10 in both offense and defense. Their defensive rating, they're 11th in the league in defense and sixth in offense. So pretty good net rating overall there. Just another balanced team in the league as Argonauts up in Montreal.
Always good.
And so if you look at the other teams you have in there, Van, you put KC on your list. Tell us about
Yes.
the KC, and I know that Kelly may want to chime in too.
Yeah, as I mentioned there, Casey has a formula. They are going to shut you down and then score enough points to beat you when you can't score, and they are living up to it this year as their top half of the league in offensive rating at 14th and first in defensive rating. I think a lot of the credit for that goes to the pickup of Adria Logan, who's turned out to be as good as everybody thought he was going to be, and also to Stefan Skropinski, who gave up some shots to Logan to let Logan lead the team in scoring this year, but continues to contribute in every way around the court.
And
Yes,
they are third in net rating at 8.7.
and I
So
agree
just
with what
good.
you said, Van.
Kelly.
Yes, I agree with what you said. Thank you guys for letting me join in on your podcast. Um, Foster is the key to Kansas City, and he's taking the most uh, less shots out of all the big three from Logan and Skrpinski. He has really taken over the leadership role as far as the floor general. He has taken over that spot to make sure to get everybody involved. But the key to the defense, if you want to compare anybody to a NBA player, would be Brandon Howard. He's like KC's Draymond Green, so he gets everything going on the defensive end. And so yes, you hit it right on the head. Our goal is try to shut people down and smother them. And if we win 2-0, then we win the game.
That's a win.
There you go. That is a win. A win is a win is a win. That's what I've been told in all my coaching time. Other
That's
teams that we look in here, we're gonna talk about the Mamba. I think a little bit later when we talk about surprising players. So let's hold off talking about the Mambas for a second. That was Van's third pick for most surprising, and let's talk about Columbus for a second because they are also on this list of most surprising honorable mention teams. They are just they're another team that's trying to kind of outgun their opponents. They're eighth in offensive rating and 23rd in defensive rating. So they're just trying to kind of run and gun and get past their opponents there in Columbus. But they have been very surprising this season.
Absolutely. And I love looking at them because Robbie is another GM like Brett who completely confounds me as I look at his team and think I figured out what he's doing and I turn out to be completely wrong. I said the season hinged on Martinos Demosthenes and Greg Boyth, and they're fine. But what they did is traded for Grigoris Nevizyevsky, signed him to a big deal, and he's scoring 18, getting 7.5 rebounds, 26.5 per, 680 true shooting. What a find! And if he can fix his turnover percent, that defense may come up a little bit better too.
Definitely, and we will talk about their amazing rookie that I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name in a little bit when we talk about surprising players this season. But they're right now they are fourth in the East after today's sim, and that's at a +8 from their expected 12th in the magazine at the beginning of the year. So they are looking good and looking like they can get there in the Eastern Conference.
Absolutely.
And of course, there's two sides to every coin. When you talk about the surprising ones, it means you got to talk about those disappointing teams. And I hate doing it because I don't want to put anyone down, but there's some teams that just aren't performing this season. And we're going to start it off with across the board, our most disappointing team this year. That is Toronto. They were picked to be third in the East and are currently sitting 14th. That's 12 for those of you that can't do math. And maybe I can't do math. Is that right? 11. That's 11. Minus 11 on that. So I'm the one that can't do math. Minus 11 on the differential on that one. And Toronto is down there as a disappointing team. So what do you think's going on there, man?
It's a great question. When we started this exercise, that was one of the first things I looked at. And you look at that roster, that man, they've got a lot of good players. I can only think that it's chemistry issues. There's a fair amount of turnover there, and what we've learned over the years is first quarter play is heavily predicated on continuity. They don't have a lot of that, so maybe it comes together. Maybe there's some people beefing behind the scenes that they've managed to keep out of the press so far. I don't know. It's a talented roster. I think it's going to be a huge decision on whether you play with that roster a little bit and try to maximize it, or I think the temptation has got to be there to take some dynamite to that core.
And some of the things that have come up have been centered, it seems, around Rasheem Lopez, who may just not be someone that other people get along with in that team, and that may be what's going on. Who knows? I'm not. Who am I to say? It's like I say, behind closed doors is behind closed doors. But you got a lot of good players. You got Millette on that team who is scoring over to almost 23 points a game, and Gazard scoring 22 points a game. So you got the scorers, but they're just not able to keep it together and turn that into wins, and their net rating is bad.
It's
it's
bad.
minus six
It's
point
bad.
four. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's bad.
let's not beat the Lopez drum too much, but boy, I was happy to trade him.
Yeah, it could be it. Who knows? Who knows? Other teams on our list. Van, you put Phoenix as your number two team for disappointing. What do you think's going on in Phoenix?
I think it's the continuity issue. They do not believe in continuity. It's a core value to that organization. That team changes every year, but it's a team built around Alan Butler, Albert Young, and Abazio Kabari, who are some of the best players ever in this league. The oldest of those guys is 32. It's hard to believe any of them has hit the wall. So I expect a rebound, and they'll end up in the top three in the West like they always do.
And I mean, we're saying a biggest disappointment. They are sixth in the West right now, so firmly in that playoff position. But they were picked to finish first in the league, so they have had a little bit of a drop there. And their net rating is sixth overall at 5.8. So it's not like it's you don't want to say the sky is falling yet, but they have underperformed up to this point, just a tad.
Yes, organization I totally believe in though.
And Kelly put in there, he put Minnesota in there. And Minnesota, as of late, they have started to turn things around just a little bit. But when you've got the guy who's been tearing up the league, Damon Lawson, you kind of expect to be first place because he is just a stud.
Yes, I
It's a
agree.
long story with him though.
I agree. It's just you have the best player in the league, the best scorer in the league, and he can drop 60 whenever he wants to. But for whatever reason, they cannot stack wins together. Like you said, um, they had a 5 game winning streak until the last sim, and now they are on a 3 game
Mhm.
losing streak. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's team chemistry. I don't know if it's players not getting along with each other. I don't know if players are mad because Lawson takes 30 to 40 shots a game and no one else gets to see the ball. I can't put my finger on it, but
I think,
with a player like that, their record and their team play should be a lot better.
yeah, Kelly,
Absolutely, and there's a long history of teams having to challenge putting play around Lawson. He's been arguably the best player in the league for a decade, has not had the regular season, let alone playoff success you would expect to go with that.
Yeah,
In some ways, he's kind of our what's one.
yeah, I think you may have put your finger on it with the Lawson, and it's tough. I mean, like I said, we'll talk about my team in just a second with Atlanta, but I've had to work around that with Dean as well. He is so dominant with the ball. He has got the ball in his hands so much that other players sometimes find it difficult to kind of figure out where their spot is, and it's a very delicate balance when you have someone that's so dominant on your team. It's just very, very tough to figure out, if you ask me.
That actually makes me laugh a little bit because Barry Burns is one of the few guys who successfully played with both Dean and Lawson.
And like I say, I'm not going to go into the kind of dynamics of my team too closely, but Burns is one of those guys that doesn't get along with anybody. So it's amazing that he's the guy that's been able to work out with both of them. That makes me laugh a little bit. So other teams that we have here in the disappointing thing, Indiana. Before we talk about my team, we'll talk about Indiana just a little bit. They are currently. Oh, I check my notes, make sure I got my math right on this one. They are currently ninth in the league, so they were expected to finish sixth or be sixth in the preseason, and they're ninth. So they've kind of come up a little bit with a couple wins. They have a 3-game winning streak going on right now. So I kind of have them in there, but again, it's not as bad. It's not like the sky is falling with Indiana.
No, it's another team that falls into that continuity. I mean, you're building a team around John Marie Villanueva's offense, Tebow Rodenbach's defense, and Ivan Ashman's passing. That team sounds like it's going to be pretty good. It's an underwhelming start. They're rounding into form, but I think, like Phoenix, they just need a little bit of time to get it together.
And the one thing we do need to remember is that there is a lot of basketball still to play. We are still very, very early in the season. Indiana's only 22 games into the season. We got a long way to go before we get to the end, and it could be totally different by the time we get to the end of the season.
Absolutely.
Van, you put your team on there. I put my team on there. Van, why don't we talk about your team first?
Sure. I mean, we were going to be bad, but I thought there was an upside of 30 wins on this team, and this team's not winning 30 games. Um, Thaddeus Smiley has been the rock for the team. Bill Bailey's rounding into form for what we paid him, but that wasn't the start we thought we'd get out of him. The edge issues are Benny Oliver, who's starting to look like he's not a starting point guard, but that's something we needed to learn this season anyway before he hits restricted free agency. And Cedric Crooks, I thought was going to win Rookie of the Year. He's going to have to up his game pretty considerably if that's going to happen. I'm still hoping we can get to
Yeah.
25 wins. That's going to take quite an achievement, though.
Yeah, there are a couple other rookies I think that are going to be saying, Crooks, you ain't going to win that Rookie of the Year." Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
there's
just
no
tough when you
chance,
get a lot
Harvey.
of new.
That's over.
Yeah, and it's tough when you get a couple new players in there to, like I said, figure out the timing and figure out how it's going to work out. Um, Luckily, you got some time. You got a rebuilding team, and there's some time to make that get that recovery, and I'm sure you'll be there sooner rather than later.
So tell us
Now
about
my
why you
team on
think
the
they're
other,
underachieving.
yeah, my team on the other hand is it's been an interesting year. I let a couple made a couple minor changes in the offseason, and one was at the center position, and brought in Boogie Dudley, who I really thought was going to anchor the paint and just be a rebounding machine, and just has not. He hasn't done quite that. And with his rebounding ratings, I mean, he should be getting over 10 a game easy, and he doesn't seem
Absolutely.
to be doing that. And that does I've been very happy with the addition of Jarvis Gray. He is really doing what I need him to do, scoring some points. Um, and the rookie, my rookie draft pick, Van Hook, has really been great at backing up the point guard position this season. He's coming along very, very nicely. When he came out of training camp, he really did well. But I was expecting a little bit more out of some of these players, and they just haven't been doing it. And it really has been a chemistry. kind of thing, just getting everyone to work out. Now, lately, the team has been performing a lot better than they did at the beginning of the season. And I think that's because I have slowed things down a bit. I've got them all going the way they need to be going. And I think that's really helped out. But I'm having the same problem that I've had every single season. It's just that we take a lot of shots and we miss a lot of shots.
Yeah. Well,
And we need
that's
to
what
get
I
that
told you. I
finish
thought
up.
this was John Smith's year to take off for you, and he continues to not take off for you.
Mhm. Yeah, John has really underperformed from that position, and I think it's tough for him because he's in the same position as Mace, and Mace doesn't like to give up minutes, doesn't like to give up positioning. I've tried him at shooting guard. John Smith. I'm talking, and it just doesn't seem like he's got enough of a stroke to be a shooting guard. So we'll have to see. I mean, he should be a sharpshooter. He should be making those outside shots, but he just doesn't take enough. To be honest, he just doesn't take enough shots. He just doesn't. He just can't find his flow in my offense, and it really would be nice if he stepped up.
Yeah,
It
he's
really
definitely
would.
making the threes 44%. He's just not taking enough of them at only 1.6.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, Mace is shooting 35% from the free throw, almost 36% from the 3-point line, taking 9.3 a game, and John's shooting 44% from the 3-point line, but only taking 1.6 a game. Um, and I know
That's
there's a
got to
minutes
go.
differential in that and all that sort of thing, but that's got to change, and it really does. And I really don't know how to make it change. So I'll figure it out. I'll talk to the guys, and we'll hopefully be able to make that change as the season progresses. Now we're going to talk
Yeah.
about some players, though, that have really been helping us out, have really been helping their teams out. Um, and let's talk about some of the ones that have been around for a little bit. And on top of your list, Van, you've got Ashante Tubbs and Philly. What's going on there?
Ashanti Tubbs came over to Philly this year, and he has upped his assists per game from 7.7, his previous career high, to 11.8 to lead the league this year. Philly's not getting the result they want, but Ashanti Tubbs is certainly not the reason why.
Yeah, he's also putting in 17.4 points a game, which is just huge, and he really has upped his game from where he's been in the last couple seasons, and I don't know what he's trying to do because he's got a contract for a couple more years. So Philly looks like they have got their point guard figured out for sure. Second on your
Absolutely.
list is Mr. Alexander in Jacksonville, who you know a lot about.
Yes, he is exceeding my expectations. He had a nice second year last year at 22.2 and 9.2, but he's up that to 33 points per game and almost 11 rebounds a game, proving he is one of the future stars of this league.
He sure is, and I mean he's getting ready. I think he's just getting started, if you ask me. And I think we've got a lot of great years coming up from Mickey Alexander in Jacksonville. Third on your list, and I'm mad that you put this guy on the thing because that means I got to pronounce his name. And he's the rookie in Columbus, and well, I'll give it a go.
I've been practicing if you want me to do it.
Let me give it one go, and then you can say it correctly. Avagustin Dezahama. Okay, is that close?
Could be. I've been pronouncing it Augustin Zemkrachinov.
I think yours is a lot better than mine.
I
A lot better
pronounce
than
it.
mine.
I pronounce it AD.
We
He's
need to
picked
get
10.
Robbie in. To
AD is the way to do it. AD. He was picked 10th overall in the last draft, and he has earned that spot for this year so far.
Absolutely. He's averaging almost 13 and 6 and leading the rookie class in 1.8 with 1.8 blocks per game. That is definitely a hit of a draft pick for Columbus.
Yeah, Columbus is gonna see some good things, and it has helped them get to where they are, which is after the last sim, 15 and 11 in a 3-game winning streak. So you got to love that for Columbus. Now, one of the guys that's been the talk of the league and is on mine and Kelly's list is Mr. Lawson in Minnesota. He is just, I mean, what do we have to say about him? Brick Lawson is been a beast. He's run just about every single player of the week. He's won the first player of the month. I mean, he has had 5 games of 60 plus points this season. That just blows me away.
And you put that together with the fact he's an all defense caliber player too. It's just absurd.
Yeah, no,
It's
he's playing
it's what we
excellent.
call not fair.
Yes, yes, I agree. He's playing excellent. Right now he's injured. He's injured. He's out for one more day. He missed the last 2 games. But like I said, it's a good and bad scenario. It's good because you know that he's going to go out when he's on the court and he's going to perform. But the story around him is he and his team just cannot win. They have good records, but they can't get over the hump to get to that next level. And it's one of those things where who do you put around him to help him get to that next level? As an owner, Trent has to make a decision. He's paying him 50 million. I think he gets paid 55 million next season, if I'm not mistaken. Um, 54. He gets paid
Yeah,
54 million next season.
54.8.
And so, do you want to go with another season with all that money on your books, knowing that yeah, you're going to get points, but are we going to get wins? Is it going to take us to the next level? Are we going to get to the third and the second or the third, or even the championship in the playoffs with Lawson? That's a tough decision that Trenton is going to have to make. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision.
and
It's a
and it's
challenge.
one of those things. Yeah, it's a challenge. The other challenge is when you have a salary that high, is finding dance partners to trade with. Is It's just hard for people to fit that much money into their budget and underneath in the salary cap rule. So especially with these the the tiers, the levels, it's really tough to aprons. The aprons, as that's the
Yeah.
word I was looking for. It's tough sometimes to find that right mix to be able to trade a guy like Lawson. Sometimes he's just stuck. You're stuck with him.
Yeah, it's especially tough in season.
And but he is an amazing player, and he is just been. I mean, even though it's not a surprise that he's been this good, it's a surprise that he's been this good. So that's how good he is. Also on our list, Kelly's top guy is Jean Marie in Indianapolis, in Indiana.
Yeah,
He has been having a great year this year.
yeah, no, I agree. He's one of those players that is consistent. He's consistent 23, 25 points a season. But this season, he is on a tear. Right now, he's averaging 33 points a game, averaging almost 6 rebounds a game. Um, and he just stepped his game up. He improved his scoring by 11 points this season. And Indiana looks like they have the pieces to compete. But once again, like we talked about them earlier, for whatever reason, it just has not come together. But there's still a lot of season left. And so hopefully they can get their chemistry together and see what Villanueva can do to see if he can carry them into the playoffs.
Yeah, he is a two-time playoff MVP. So if Indiana can get there, he knows what to do there.
Yes, he does, and I think they'll be there in the end. It's one of those teams that just always seems to find their way as the season progresses. And let's talk about the rookie that has been the talk of everybody this year, that nobody thought would be doing what he did except for one guy who drafted him. The guy that's picked 14th overall, Larry Patowski. He has come into the league and, I mean, hasn't missed a beat. And I've got one word for it. I mean, it's just unfair that LA always finds these guys. They found Larry. He's getting 20.4 points a game. I mean, what do you have to say about Larry?
Yeah, I
That's the
agree.
crazy thing. I I talked to Drawn a lot this offseason when he decided to trade Blakemore, the reigning playoff MVP, for the first pick. They're like, do you really want to give up equity this year? And he added a really promising player. But Piakowski was his second first round pick, not even the first overall pick, which he also had. Uh, it's absurd.
Right. And
It's a LA luck.
yeah, no, and that is like my rival. So I'm not happy about this situation, but I like the development of him and how he's playing. I honestly did not see this coming at all. I thought that he would be a decent player, maybe a role player, potentially filling in here and there as a starter. I did not see this performance coming from him at all in the draft scouting at all. And so, like you said, Van, I extremely agree. It is totally unfair. The rich keeps getting richer, and it's somebody that I have to deal with a lot, along with Hollywood Rob. So, yeah, pulling what little bit of hair I
Well,
do have
to me,
out.
that's the crazy thing. Yeah, to me, that's the crazy thing about this start is Rob Scott's missed half their games. They're missing the playoff MVP from last year. The number one overall pick in the draft has been in the D League and hasn't played an association minute yet. But Larry Piatkowski's carrying him to second best record in the West.
And as you guys mentioned, Larry he's got 20.4 points a game, and he's got a boatload of assists a game, leading the rookies over five. If you want to go back to the rookie season of Hollywood Rob only averaged 16.5 points a game and 4 assists per game in his first season in LA. Patowski is besting both of those numbers right now and maybe better than Hollywood Rob when it's all said and done. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, I wouldn't put that on that young man.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that either. But
Well,
it is something to think about. It is
but
really something to think about.
I mean, I just went back to those numbers. And like I said, I'm just going back and looking at the numbers, and the numbers don't lie, and that's where he is right now. We'll see where he finishes the season. Like a lot of rookies, so when you get to like that 40, 50 game point, they kind of slow down a little bit. We'll see if Patowski is one of those that will slow down or keep on going in this league. But he is going to be someone to deal with. The last guy on my list is from OKC, and that would be Gilbert Dollar, who is in the last season of his rookie deal, and he has upped his points per game up to 25.9. He was at 16.6 last season, upped his assists per game to 5.8 from 4 last season. He was the number 2 pick back in 29, and he is looking for a big payday as he hits free agency next season because he has upped his game this year and is a bit surprising to me.
He is living up to the billing finally. This is what the GM was looking at when he drafted this guy. Be a fitting running mate for Larson Smith, who I think may one day be the best player in the league, if he's not already. You can make that argument now. And that perimeter lineup of Smith, Dollar, and Donnell Bailey is just powering that team.
Yeah, and they're up to an 18-8 record after the last sim in Oklahoma City, and are looking pretty good in a very, very, very tough Western Conference. As they're in third with an 18-8 record. I mean, it's really going to be tough to get over KC and LA, but hey, maybe they can do it. These guys really showing up this season.
Absolutely. They're still young, still building, but they're going to break through one of these seasons.
That they will. And that, my friends, is a list of our most surprising and least surprising for the season. It's been a great start to the season. I this time of the year always gets me because you're far enough into the season where you can really see who's at the top, who's not at the top, who's kind of rounding into form, and who's not. And it's always a good time to kind of start doing the minor tinkering to get your team exactly where you want it to be.
Exactly. Or deciding if it's time to do something pretty drastic, as I think some GMs might be looking at.
Yeah, maybe time to blow it up because we do have the trade deadline coming up. I mean, we still got a little ways to go until we get there, but it will be here before you know it. So if you got want to make those in-season trades, now's the time to start talking about what you're going to do.
Yes,
Van, it has
and
been a
to
pleasure.
to go with what you were saying, Jeremy, is 59 days to the trade
Yep,
deadline.
and that comes up real quick.
We need to start working up our deadline prediction pod, don't we?
Yeah, I think that's the next that may be the next one. We'll see. We'll see when we get back on here. Hopefully, it will be sooner rather than later. Van and Kelly, it has been a pleasure again. And Kelly, like I said, just want to take a second to thank Kelly for everything that he's doing behind the scenes to get this thing going. This has been a labor of love for him the last couple weeks to try to figure out exactly how we're going to get this moving. And like I say, thank you very much for doing all the behind the scenes stuff because I have no idea how you get it done.
No, thank you. I thank you guys for actually taking this challenge on and doing the podcast. It brings so much life to the league. Um, I mean, I love the league. I love all the commissioners that are in the league. That's what makes this community so wonderful. So this podcast, and like you said, we hopefully we'll get episode 4 up sooner than later.
Absolutely.
Like
Thanks,
I say,
guys.
it's all about timing. Thank you, Van, and thank you, Kelly. We will see you again soon on the SIBA Dirt South podcast. Thank you very much.